Hi guys, Alexander here. Today we're going to take a look at Pro 50 closed-back headphones from ONEODIO. Hey, I'm Alexander and this channel is dedicated to honest and comprehensive reviews of headphones, IEMs, decks, amps and microphones. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to my channel and don't forget to click the notification bell. This unit was sent to me by ONEODIO in exchange for my honest review. Thank you. I'm not paid to say anything in particular about this product and all thoughts and opinions in today's episode are my own. Pro 50 is a closed-back headphones and it retails for $49. It comes in a nice and stylish box. Inside the box we have headphones, we have two detachable cables. It's really nice to see detachable cables on a budget pair of headphones. We also have a carrying pouch and a manual. Talking about technical specifications, headphones are using 50mm dynamic drivers, impedance is 32 ohms and sensitivity is 110 dB. The build is mostly plastic, the headphones are very light and they weigh only 263 grams. Build quality overall is quite decent. The inner part of headband is made of metal, then it's covered in memory foam and everything is wrapped in pleather. The joints are plastic, but surprisingly they have a metal reinforcement. Ear cups are made of plastic and the silvering of the ear cups is actually a plastic too. Cups rotate inwards at 90 degrees and outwards at 5 degrees, but be careful with the rotation and don't forget that they rotate inwards, because if you apply force and try to rotate them 90 degrees outwards, you might break them. Cups also flip or rotate 180 degrees, and this is quite useful for some applications, but hinges lack a little bit of resistance, so this rotation is not very well controlled. The headphones also fold, so you can fold the headphones, put them in the pouch which is also supplied with the headphones and put it in your bag. The ear pads are soft and made out of pleather. They also have a memory foam inside, and overall the ear pads are quite nice to touch and I also like this red stitching. By the way, the same red stitching is also on a headband. Clamping force is a little bit on the lower side. I myself have an average size head. For example, I wear a motorcycle helmet size L, and for my personal liking the clamping force is lacking a bit. The passive sound isolation is average. On the bottom of the ear cup we have a cable connector, but not just one. We have two connectors, 6.3mm on the left ear cup and 3.5mm on the right cup. Overall comfort is quite good. The ear pads are really soft and I wasn't experiencing any fatigue or discomfort even during long listening sessions. Now a couple of words about cables and use cases. Pro 50 has a very well thought cable system. It comes with two cables. First cable is a straight cable. It's 1.2 meters long and it has a built-in microphone. So from one side of the cable we have 3.5mm TRS connector and on the other side we have 3.5mm TRRS connector. The second cable, which is called by manufacturer a dual duty cable, is half coiled cable, so it's not completely coiled, only part of the cable is coiled and its length is 3 meters. It has 3.5mm connector on one side and it has 6.3mm connectors on another side. And this brings us to cable use case scenarios, and there are actually 4 use case scenarios. So the first scenario is when you're using 1.2 meter straight cable with your smartphone, DAP, tablet and etc. So any device that has 3.5mm output and you also don't need a long cable. The second use case scenario is when you want to use coiled cable with the same devices. So you just connect 6.3mm connector to headphones and you connect 3.5mm to your devices. Use case scenario 3 is when you want to use coiled cable but with professional devices or devices that don't have 3.5mm output. For example, with your receiver, with your external sound card or your DJ mixer, which would usually require you to use an adapter from 3.5mm to 6.3mm. But as you have this dual duty cable, you can just rotate it. so you're just connecting it with 3.5mm to your headphones and with 6.3mm to your device, whenever it's a mixer, audio interface, receiver, etc. And finally, use case scenario 4. Well, it's not very professional way, but it still works this way. You can connect a second pair of headphones to Pro 50. But take into consideration that this changes impedance, and depending on your source, it also can change the overall sound. This scenario might be useful, for example, if you are watching a TV and you want a second person to watch TV as well and you don't have a splitter, so the person can connect second pair of headphones directly to your Pro 50. Overall, in real life, I don't think there will be many cases when you need to connect one pair of headphones to another pair of headphones, but it's up to your imagination and you can get really creative with it. Now let's talk about sound. First of all, I'd like to mention that all the sound impressions that I'm sharing on my channel are completely subjective, so please take it with a grain of salt. In general, Pro 50 has a V-shaped sound signature. Talking about low frequencies, mid-bass in my opinion is more prominent than sub-bass, and also details are quite surprising for this price range. The bass has a good impact, it's quite good defined again for this price range, but it lacks a little bit of control. The mids are recessed, and this is not surprising because this pair has a V-shaped sound signature. The vocals and instruments sometimes lack note weight and separation, and this also leads us to the point that mid-range timbre is not very accurate. Treble extension is average, it lacks details, and I would personally like a little bit of more air and sparkle to balance the heavy low end of this pair. But no matter what, the details are still present, but the treble can be sometimes harsh, especially on high volumes. Soundstage is above average, and it's quite wide for a pair of closed-back headphones. Imaging is also accurate for this price range. Separation of instruments is definitely not the strongest part of this pair, but I won't complain, as they still blow a lot of competition in this price range out of the water. Let's summarize. Pro 50 is a quite solid offering in this price category. Talking about pros, price, headphones are lightweight and comfortable, they have a well-thought cable system, they come with 2 detachable cables, they have a lot of bass, so if you're a bass head, you'll probably like this pair, and overall sound quality is quite good. Cons, I'd personally prefer a little bit more of a clamping force, passive sound isolation is average, and treble can be harsh for some, especially on high volumes. If you are on a budget and you are looking for a pair of closed-back headphones, you just can't go wrong with Pro 50, as this is one of the best closed-back offerings currently on the market under $50 US. Alright guys, that's all from me for today, and I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel, and see you in the next video. Goodbye!